It all kicked off with a cracked trash bin lid. One Thursday morning, after the garbage truck rumbled by, I noticed my lid was gone, swapped for a shiny new one with faint initials I didn't recognize. I figured it was just a mix-a-poor street had identical black bins, courtesy of the HOA. But the next week, both my bins vanished, replaced by two beat-up ones that reeked like a compost graveyard. I might have let it slide, except that afternoon, an HOA newsletter landed in my inbox, ranting about improper bin usage and VY Sewell disruption. At the bottom, in bold, was the name Diane Whitaker, HOA secretary, with a title so long it could have been a royal decree. Diane didn't just introduce herself, she stormed onto my driveway like a suburban general, arms crossed, flashing a smile that was all teeth. Unauthorized bin modifications VY Olate Article 7, Section C, she declared, eyeing the replacement bins like they'd insulted her family. When I asked what she meant, she snapped, "Clearly, these aren't yours anymore," and strutted off like she just wanted debate. I didn't know it yet, but I'd just met the queen of cul-de-sac chaos. Things got weirder. I spotted a fake owl perched on Diane's garage, its eye glinting with a camera lens. To test it, I waved, holding a sign that said, "Smile, Diane." By morning, the owl was gone, and the next newsletter fumed about inflammatory gestures toward security to VY sass. Diane wasn't just nosy, she was running the HOA like her personal fiefdom. Every garbage day, my bins changed, cleaner, dirtier, or marked with strange numbers. When I emailed the board about a bin rotation policy, Diane's reply dripped with passive-aggressive venom. Proper container stewardship is a shared responsibility. Translation: shut up. One day, I caught her in the act. Working from home, I heard wheels squeaking. Peeking through the blinds, I saw Diane, in a floral VY sore and orthopedic sneakers, swapping my bins with ones from 3 houses down, spritzing them with air freshener and muttering about standards. I stepped outside, phone recording, but she didn't flinch. Just assisting with bin redistribution. She chirped like she was VYing puppies. I posted the VY Deo to the neighborhood Facebook group. It was deleted in an hour. Diane moderated the group. The next newsletter warned that unauthorized recording of HOA officials could revoke community PRIVY leges. Or we serfs? It escalated fast. A DULA 25 fine arrived for trip hazards because my bin was an inch off the curb. I measured it twice. Then came a notice about my grass being 1.5 inches too tall. I just mowed. A neighbor whispered that Diane once tried to VYCT someone over a plastic flamingo for disrupting VY Sewell harmony. I tested her limits. Moved my bin 3 inches left, got a notice. Stuck googly eyes on it. Got a letter accusing me of juvenile BHA VY, or the final straw. My trash wasn't picked up because Diane reported it as contaminated with paint thinner I didn't own. That night, under my flickering porch light, I saw her silhouette down the street, staring like a low-budget horror VY lane. This wasn't about bin sit, it was about control. And I was done playing nice. Something snapped, but quietly, like a fuse burning down. At 2 a.m., I was sketching plans on a napkin. Diane loved her bins? I'd give her bins she'd never forget. I scoured Craigslist and bought 2 batter bins for DULA, 10 each from a guy who offered a broken flamingo for chaos. In my garage, over 3 nights, I filled them halfway with quick-set concrete, careful to keep the noise low. To sell the illusion, I glued fake trash bags on top, sprayed them with bin-scented air freshener, and painted them to match our HOA's exact shade, complete with fake serial numbers printed on thermal paper. It was my garbage masterpiece. Monday night, I set the trap. 2 concrete bins, slightly misaligned to trigger Diane's OCD. I turned off my lights, hid a GoPro in the bushes, and waited. At 6:17 a.m., Diane marched down the sidewalk, latex gloves on, pushing her own bins like a general on parade. She stopped at my curb, glanced around, and grabbed the handle. Inspection mode activated. She pulled. Nothing. She yanked harder, confusion creeping in. Then, with all her HOA might, she heaved, only to stumble backward when the bin didn't budge. Her face twisted, part shock, part fury. She tapped the side, tried tipping it, even poked it with a broom she grabbed from her car. When a jogger passed, she roped him in. He tugged once and said, "Lady, this thing's got bricks in it." He bolted. Diane called in Ralph, the HOA VYC treasurer, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. He gave a half-hearted pull, muttered, "Maybe it's full," and backed off when Diane hissed something. By noon, she was at my door, jaw clenched, forcing a smile. "Your bins seem jammed," she said. "Can we inspect them?" I sipped my coffee, feigning concern. "They're just full of trash, but if you want to haul them yourself, go for it." She didn't reply, just stood there, radiating rage. I snapped a photo of her fuming face before closing the door. That image later became a meme. Diane versus JRAVY tie. The concrete bin stayed untouched, my real ones safe in the garage. Diane called an emergency HOA meeting, accusing me of bin sabotage. But when pressed for proof, she stammered about he VY Ness and GRAVY tie tampering. Ralph stared at the floor. The room snickered. Her grip was slipping. I wasn't done, though. While she ranted, I requested the HOA's financial records any member could, per the bylaws. Diane stalled, citing pending reconciliations, but after I CC'd Ralph, a manila envelope arrived, delivered by a sheepish board member named Linda. The first pages were dull. Landscaping, pest control. Then I hit pay dirt. Do law 4,000 for aesthetic bin reinforcements. Reinforce with what? Glitter? Digging deeper, I found charges for KVAD compliance solutions, a vendor that didn't exist. A reverse address lookup traced it to Diane's cousin's house in Arizona. Cross-referencing emails and newsletters, I saw every shady expense tied to Diane's pet projects. Repainting the clubhouse to match her shutters, new pavers by her lot, a spotlighted HOA sign in her yard. It wasn't just petty, it was embezzlement in yoga pants. I compiled a PDF with charts, receipts, and screenshots and handed it to Ralph at his favorite pickleball bench. His jaw dropped. "She approved these without votes," he muttered. "Said the finance chair pre-approved them." "Who's the finance chair?" I asked. "Diane," he said slowly. "We brought in a third party, an HOA compliance attorney named Claire." At the next meeting, with record attendance and folding chairs spilling into the hall, Claire unveiled a slideshow. Unapproved financial expenditures. By slide 5, detailing the fake vendor and cousin's address, Diane dropped her pen. "This is a witch hunt," she hissed. Claire didn't blink. "This is forensic accounting." Ralph moved to suspend Diane for financial duties and recommend a county re-VYEW. Diane stormed out, vowing, "You'll regret this. I am this HOA." That line became a ringtone. Then the state got involved. A Tuesday morning brought 3 black SUVs to Diane's door, plus a sheriff and a guy in a hazmat suit. Neighbors hid behind hedges, whispering. The sheriff's words echoed. "Ma'am, you've illegally disposed of regulated materials." Diane hadn't just swapped benched buried paint cans, pesticides, and bleach in a secret cellar under her garage, a trash cave lined with tarps. She called city disposal inefficient. The state disagreed, charging her with environmental negligence, illegal storage, and fraud. News vans swarmed. Headlines screamed, "HOA Secretary's suburban waste bunker." Ralph quipped, "Guess she couldn't let go of the trash." The HOA sued for due law 28,437.49, itemizing every cent, including due law 32.18 for a stolen bird bath Diane claimed disrupted butterflies. My GoPro footage of her wrestling the concrete bin played in court. The judge chuckled. Diane was liable for full restitution, barred from HOA boards for a decade. Her house sale barely covered the judgment. Neighbors replanted flowers, reinstalled mailboxes, and rewrote the HOA charter. Term limits, transparency, and a community veto rule nicknamed the Anti-Diane Clause. The spring parade sealed her defeat. Diane once tried to cancel it for noise violations, but now, with Ralph leading, it was a rebellion. Floats mocked her reign, one with a bin and a gold crown, another tossing fake citations to Beyoncé. Mine, Diane's concrete jungle, had cardboard bins, screeching wheel sounds, and a mannequin of Diane spinning on a scooter. Kids loved it It won Best Comedy. As we passed her house, we waved and shouted, "Thanks, Diane." Her curtains twitched, then slammed shut. Diane moved 42 miles away to another HOA community, Oak Crest Heights. Within weeks, she was flagging gnomes and filing noise complaints. But her new board Googled her, found the memes, and shut her down, placing her on a Cincinnati VYTI watch list. Her house sat next to the community dumpster, trucks clanging at dawn. The kicker? Claire, our attorney, was on their board. "We believe in second chances," she told Diane, "but not third ones." Diane's clipboard days were done. Back home, we thrived. The concrete bin became a garden sculpture, surrounded by lavender, its plaque reading, "Here lies the bin of resistance, stubborn, immovable, and full of trash, just like our past." The newsletter, now the cul-de-sac nice list, celebrated flamingos and gnomes. Diane's empire of citations crumbled, recycled into a freer, louder community. Her own rules undid her poetic twist sealed in cement. So what would you have done if Diane targeted your bins? Would you have poured concrete or gone straight to the lawyers? Should HOAs have this much power, or are they just playgrounds for petty tyrants? Drop your stories below, hit like if you laughed, subscribe for more, and share this with someone who needs a lesson in boundaries. Let's hear if, though far, would you go to take back your trash?